I mean, as far as we could see from the players, that's pretty much what it was. He was there, you'd see him, but he would never really inject himself into it. He would sort of stay in the shadows and sort of sit in the back a little bit, you know, but you always knew that he had his hand on the pulse of the whole thing, you know, that he was the one that was running it, but it wasn't brought to our attention. I don't think he wanted to be that person who was going to come down as the owner and say, you have to do this because I'm putting the money in. He wasn't that guy. He just did it because he wanted it to succeed, and it was something that he really believed in.
You didn't expect somebody like that to be involved with soccer, but I think obviously something had to do with that. Lucas was the son who was a goalkeeper, and the Heasley family, you know, were really into the game and wanted to see it do well at the beginning.
He was so fast. I mean, we had a fast team to begin with, but having David up top, he's a goal scorer.
I mean, he was good right off the bat. I remember coming to a couple of the first things early before the season started, and I remember he just stuck out in my mind as one of the top players.
Yeah, so David Flavius, man, what a good guy. When you can understand him, it's great. You know, so Flav from the beginning, just, you know, just a big ball of muscle who's just super fast and really only has a right leg so he could stand on it and balance. But his left is tremendous, scored a lot of goals for us and just did an awesome job.
But he also grew, you know, I think he grew. He became a smarter player, less reliant on his pace, and he was able to, you know, be a little smarter player, a little more tactical.
You know, John Kowalski goes, John, I mean, he came with all the credentials in the world, you know, as far as coaching and where he had coached, the national team stuff that he had done, and you know, just the knowledge that he has of the game.
First impression of him was a guy who was an intense coach. He was really into it, passionate about what he was doing. Yeah, and he was a guy that got a lot out of his players. You know, he made you work for it and made you earn what you're going to get.
You know, you look at him and you look at his resume, you know, what he did with the national team and Pittsburgh Spirit and then in MLS, and he can get the best out of players, right? He's good at finding that chemistry and putting people in the right positions.
Justin was that fiery, emotional player. He was, you know, even from the start, just a leader on the team. He just kind of held things together in the midfield. Really hardworking, you know, a great facilitator of the ball. You know, got everybody involved, and he was, you know, he was a demanding guy in the center mid. You know, he made a run, or if he didn't make a run, he'd let you know about it. But he everything kind of went through him in the middle of the field.
He's the type of player that you could build a team around, right? So they made the announcement about you know, the players, and Justin is an absolute competitor, right? So high school, before high school youth games, he is just a dominant type player that when that signing happened, you knew it was going to be a good team. And I think that first year, if there was a category, Justin was probably leading it. You know, minutes played, fouls, yellow cards. I think he was in the top 3 in assists. But just whether it was a practice, whether it was a game, whether it was a scrimmage, Justin was going 100 miles an hour, and he was a key that first year.
I mean, Dave Kasper was my beadling coach growing up since I was 12 or 13 years old, so I'd known Dave forever. From the get-go, you could tell it was going to be run the right way. You know, and that was a great thing to be a part of.
Conservative. He knew soccer very well. He played with his cards close to his chest. Okay, so he never really showed his hand all the time. And I thought he would be a you know, a very good person to be involved, and wasn't the type of a person if there was something that went wrong, immediately he would spill his guts, so to speak, and say, well, this thing is not going to work. He was able to work through some rough waters.
Dave just knew the history of this city, and he went to Maryland, I think, and did really well at college, and then, you know, just realized that the game could really grow here, and I got to give him credit. You know, he did a fantastic job of getting the right kind of group of people together.